make your life so much more comfortable and easy. But the question is, are they going to turn out to be Autobots or are they going to be Decepticons? We just had the Detroit Auto Show this last week, and of course the previous week was the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. So the global auto industry is undergoing three simultaneous technological transformations. A propulsion revolution, in other words, what kind of power plant are they going to have? Is it going to be petroleum-based, or is it going to be fuel cells, or is it going to be electric? They also say there's going to be a connectivity revolution and an autonomy revolution. Now, of course, connectivity is you being connected to the internet, because everywhere we go, we have to have our social media. We have to have our government minders following us everywhere we're going, monitoring our behavior. And of course, the autonomy revolution, the self-driving cars, as they like to call them. They say ultimately, autonomous cars might obviate individual ownership as cars ferry passengers to their desired destinations before heading off to pick up their next customer. Driverless cars could become a linchpin of a future sharing economy. Isn't that special? See, what you're going to have is the end of individual ownership of cars. Uber has talked about it. This correspondent, who has gone to the auto shows for over 30 years, understands that the autonomous car is going to be the end, not only of you being able to freely move about when and where you want to go, it's also going to be the end of private ownership. As you can see from this picture of the Mercedes self-driving car that was introduced last week at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, it essentially turns the car into a living room, a passive living room. In this article from robohub.org, they are gushing about the technology in the interior. They say the vehicle interior is even more mesmerizing than the exterior. They say the front windscreen has a heads-up display, and each of the side windows is actually a digital screen that each of the four passengers can gesture control as they wish, even overlaying different scenery that's actually being driven through. Hey, you know what? We used to call that Windows. We had a technology, and I don't mean Microsoft Windows, I mean glass windows where we could look out and see where we were going. They want to keep you in a virtual bubble even as you move around in your government-controlled cars. And it's not just the government that's going to be controlling you, of course, it's going to be the corporations. Uber says that they, or somebody like them, is essentially going to own all the cars. It's going to be a perfect fascist economy as far as transportation goes. You even have sites like Breitbart putting up gee whiz articles. It's not even just popular mechanics. People like Breitbart don't see the problem with this. They sell it as a feature. They say virtual traffic lights on your dashboard could make driving safer and faster. They say virtual traffic lights that'll be on your dashboard will revolutionize traffic patterns and make our drives faster and safer. With this technology, the traffic lights will be created on demand when two cars are trying to cross this intersection, and they'll be turned down as soon as we don't need it. This new technology would make use of the new vehicle-to-vehicle safety communication systems with which the federal government is mandating that cars be equipped. Yeah, they're mandating that you're going to pay several $100s more in today's dollars in 2020 so that your cars can talk to each other and talk to the government. Kit Daniels nailed this in an article today on INFOWARS.com. He said, advertisers and feds want data automakers collect from their high-tech cars. So it's a bidding war. Again, it's corporations and it's government. Corporations are going to make the money, governments are going to control you, and they're going to cooperate in a fascist economy. He says every BMW rolling off the assembly line collects data on location, speed, acceleration, even the weight of the passengers in the car. The data is so comprehensive, it could tell advertisers when a car carrying a child is passing by McDonald's. It could also tell the government when you are speeding. He says ever-expanding governments are always looking for ways to make more money, and especially things like gas tax, taxing you by the mile, or giving you a speeding ticket by constantly monitoring you. That's how they're going to stop anyone who wants to drive their cars on the road. They will bludgeon you to death with taxes and with insurance fees because you are going to be the dangerous one on the road. You're going to be a danger to everybody who's got their wonderful little Autobots that are moving them around in a government-controlled cocoon. And then there's this chilling quote from Ford's global vice president. He said, "We know everyone who breaks the law We know when you're doing it. We have a GPS in your car, so we know what you're doing. And guess what? They're going to share that information with the government. That's what CISPA is about. It's not just going to be the phone companies, the internet companies that are spying on you and sharing that information with the government. It's also going to be the car companies, or actually, since you won't own the car, it will be the taxis spying on you once they get you out of your private car. Well, stay with us right after the break. We're going to have a report from John Bound on Obama's U.S. terror cells. Stay with us.
2015 is almost here, and with it comes those New Year's resolutions to finally transform your body the way you want it. There's a reason over 88% of New Year's resolutions fail. Make this year different by equipping yourself with Oxy Powder, the next level in cleansing the body naturally. Using super oxygenation, Oxy Powder, available through InfoWarsLife.com, gently cleanses the body while you sleep with easy capsules. Tens of thousands of individuals have used Oxy Powder to cleanse their bodies and aid in their transformations. Even InfoWars Nightly News Director Rob Dew has been using Oxy Powder with incredible success.
Took it that first day, and then I took it for 6 more days after that. 12 pounds melted off in about a week. I'd say a week, 7 days.
2015 can be different. Diet and exercise are important, but a lot of us have already tried that. Oxy Powder flushes it out. Secure your Oxy Powder at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
So, Mr. President, how do you handle promises that you made when you were running for election, and how do you handle it? I mean, what do you say to people? Do you just I know people were wondering. You don't have it. Okay.
How sad was it in the streets of Paris as 40 world leaders walked down the street? Absent was the United States of America. Where was the president?
Attorney General Eric Holder was in Paris for a terrorism summit with French President Hollande, but darted out just before world leaders historically convened to pay their respects to the fallen Charlie Hebdo cartoonists. Holder then went on a media blitz claiming that there is no credible threat to Americans.
The entire threat environment is as dangerous as anything you've seen since 9/11. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I would say that that's true, although there's not a specific credible threat that I can point to.
It makes the average American wonder what the Obama administration is hiding when anyone can go online and discover the clear and present danger of decades-old State Department documents revealing what has been lurking within at least 22 of our United States.
Videotape uncovered by our investigation team. Sheikh Jelani is seen here both recruiting American Muslims and instructing them in Islamic guerrilla warfare tactics. The tape is known as Soldiers of Allah.
On behalf of the Muslims of America, I present before you a documentary film in helping and training oppressed Muslims. I'm proud to say and to sit with my colleagues who have been successful in founding an international organization which is called Soldiers of Allah, SOA. And we are establishing training camps. You can reach us, at Veronica University offices in upstate New York, or in Canada, or in Michigan, or in South Carolina, or in Pakistan, wherever we are. You can reach us. You're most welcome to join one of our, advanced training course in Islamic military warfare.
The Clarion Project, who I work for, we broke this story about how a terrorist enclave has been detected in Texas. We know this from declassified FBI documents. There was originally some broad intelligence about it, and so we started investigating. We figured out the group's front organizations that they were using in Texas, and then some activists from a group called Act for America went and verified the specific location so that we made sure that we definitely knew what we were talking about, and then we got declassified FBI documents and confirmed it from that end. So we know for a fact that this organization that runs the 22 villages, as they call them, also have one in Texas.
In 2001, ATF Special Agent Thomas P. Gallagher testified in court that individuals from the organization Muslims of the Americas are trained in Hancock, New York. And if they pass the training in Hancock, New York, are then sent to Pakistan for training in paramilitary and survivalist training by Mr. Jilani. On January 23, 2002, American journalist Daniel Pearl was kidnapped on his way to question Sheikh Mubarak Ali Jilani's connection to shoe bomber Richard Reed in downtown Karachi. 9 days later, Pearl was decapitated. On May 16th, his severed head and decomposed body were found cut into 10 pieces. Jilani was temporarily in Pakistani custody after the kidnapping. The main compound near the town of Hancock in upstate New York, known as Holy Islamburg, was founded in 1980 by Jilani as a religious sanctuary for devout Muslims. This land is located near the reservoir that supplies most of New York City's drinking water. In fact, most of the compounds are near strategic locations within the United States designed to affect a mass population event at any time.
According to the 2006 law enforcement report, Jilani opened his compounds near significant infrastructure targets. Islamville is less than 5 miles away from the Catawba nuclear facility.
The FBI's own documents define the Muslims of America as an autonomous organization which possesses an infrastructure capable of planning and mounting terrorist campaigns overseas and here within the U.S. How can the Obama administration claim they are concerned about lone wolf attacks, i.e. gun owners, Tea Partiers, and constitutionalists, when training videos clearly link Sheikh Mubarak Ali Jilani to an expanding network of radical Islamic cells within the United States? Further State Department documents have not listed Fukra as a terror organization, regardless of countless felonies committed by its members. Jilani's intent is echoed by the Muslim Brotherhood with slogans like, God is our objective, the Prophet is our leader, the Quran is our law, Jihad is our way, dying in the way of God is our highest hope, and Obama's ties to the Muslim Brotherhood are becoming increasingly well known.
Why President Barack Hussein not hitting hard on the terrorists and on ISIS? And I know it sounds crazy, but bear with me. President Barack was born after his older brother, Malik. The father, Mr. Hussein, named his son Malik, and that's one of God's names in Islam. The second son, he named him Barak. What does Barak mean? Barak is the right Prophet Muhammad, and we can see Mr. Malik sitting with Mr. Obama, visiting him in the White House. Mr. Malik is in charge of the Muslim Brotherhood in Africa. There's a lot of finances going on through Mr. Malik, and we can see him in another picture holding the Yemenian dagger on his waist. And he is a big supporter to the Muslim Brotherhood. And that explains that Mr. Barack Hussein is not hitting hard on the Muslim Brotherhood. On the contrary, he took them off the terrorist list. For years and years, the Muslim Brotherhood is on the terrorist list around the world. In the Arab world, who knows them best? But Mr. Barack decided to take them off the terrorist list and start to be sponsoring them and put them in charge of Egypt.
The IRS and your tax dollars allow these nonprofit organizations openly hell-bent on the destruction of the United States to operate within the United States. Demographics show that the Muslim birth rate is the world's highest, but it is falling faster than the birth rate of any culture. The Muslim world currently has 25 million idle young men struggling to follow the immigration path to Western Europe and the United States to escape abject poverty and diminishing resources. Now the Obama administration is playing semantics with the usage of the term radical Islam in an apparent bid to paint their investment in a better light.
The lengths to which he will go to avoid telling us the truth about the enemy is becoming comical. It's certainly embarrassing. For example, he will never forget about the word jihadist. He'll never use that. But he refuses to use the word Islamist, which is used throughout the Muslim world. It's used by journalists, by authors.